guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be ranking the 6 dungeons of Tears of the Kingdom. Now this is obviously going to contain spoilers for Tears of the Kingdom, so if you haven't beaten all the dungeons, then I highly recommend clicking off the video now and maybe come back and watch it when you do, or just take your time because that's what I did. But without further ado, let's just get straight onto it. In number 6, I have Hyrule Castle. Now, Hyrule Castle isn't really like a normal puzzle-themed dungeon. It's really following an obviously fake Zelda around the castle and then just fighting loads of, like, enemies. Now, this is fun. It's not bad. I like all the dungeons, but out of all of them, this is the worst. Fighting loads of monsters gets a little bit repetitive and boring towards the end of the dungeon, but it is saved by the amazing boss fight of Phantom Ganon, where it's kind of like a 5v5 of all like your sage spirits and the Phantom Ganon, so that's a really cool boss fight, and there's a sick cutscene afterwards, but that's my number 6. In number 5, I have the Water Temple. Now, I didn't dislike the Water Temple, I just did not like it as much as the others. For example, the puzzles were just way too easy, and you could see everywhere you had to go. There was no feeling of, like, you're, like, lost or whatever, but there was that, like, kind of mini, like, under section of the temple, which I found cool, and that was my favourite part. But overall, the puzzles were really easy. You could see how open it was. It didn't really feel like a dungeon. Like, kind of like the Sky Islands up to the dungeon felt like more memorable, which shouldn't be the case, but it is, sadly. I mean, it did do some stuff well. They didn't make like a water temple so unbelievably painful like water temples usually are in Zelda games, and the anti-gravity was also really fun. I really did enjoy like the anti-gravity a lot. But overall, it's an alright dungeon, and the boss, Muktarok, I think, it was kind of a bit goofy. He wasn't really that good. He wasn't a brilliant boss. He wasn't one of the best bosses in Tears of the Kingdom, but it is what it is. Number 4, I have the Construct Factory / the Spirit Temple. Now, this is the dungeon you do after the regional phenomena and Hyrule Castle. And it's basically this massive factory underground in the depths of Faron that you have to do a massive quest on the surface to get to. And it's not a bad dungeon. It just doesn't feel like a dungeon. It kind of feels like, I don't know what it feels like, but it doesn't really feel like the other dungeons. I liked how you could use the Zonai devices to get like the different body pieces for Minoru's robot body around, and I really did enjoy using the Zonai devices in different ways, and actually taught me how to use some of the like devices because I wasn't as confident with the Zonai devices when I did this. And I actually do remember I did enjoy the puzzles. Some of them were a little bit easy and a bit tedious, but overall the puzzles were pretty good. I also really, really love the boss. That's why I put it higher than the Water Temple. I don't understand how people can dislike this boss. I've seen people say that it's goofy, and I know it is a bit goofy, but I love it's 2 massive mechanical robots fighting to the death in a boxing ring. I can't comprehend for the life of me how people can dislike this fight. It's by far, except Ganondorf, my favourite boss fight in the game, like main story-wise, and I just don't understand how people can dislike it. It's just such a sick boss. I love it. In 3rd place, getting the bronze medal, is the Wind Temple. Now, this is the dungeon the game wants you to go to first. Now, I didn't go to it first, I went to it 3rd, and I did find it a little bit easier, because it is supposed to be easier, because it's usually for the people that go there first. But overall, the dungeon, it looks awesome. It's a massive flying ghost ship in the middle of a giant storm. Like, how could you not love the design of it? And the puzzles, they're really satisfying to solve, but I think they're a bit too easy to solve, but I do really like them. There's a more sense that you could feel lost in this temple, but more than like the others, because the others felt a bit more open, and like it's hard to get lost in those temples, but this one's the start of where it actually feels more dungeony, like, because they're like enclosed bits. We have to figure out puzzles, closed corridors and stuff, where it feels like you're more jammed in, and it feels more of a dungeon, so I like that much more. The Colgera boss fight looks awesome, but unfortunately it is very easy. Probably the easiest boss in the game. It's easier than fighting a Lionel, to be honest, which is not what it should be. But it is meant to be the first dungeon people go to, so it does make sense that it's not that hard. And the climax and the setting of where you fight it and like what you do to fight it is so awesome. You fly around with Tulin, like dropping on his ice and just like destroying it, taking his health away. It's actually really fun. I really did enjoy this fight. I didn't care that it was easy because I was just having such a good time. I was literally screaming. My little brother was in the room with me and we were just screaming while I was playing this. It was a good time. I really did enjoy the Colgera boss fight, and that's why the Wind Temple is at number 3. In second place, the runner-up, I have the Fire Temple. Now, the Fire Temple was the first dungeon I went to because Death Mountain looked so intriguing, I had to go and check out what it was. But the Fire Temple is located directly under Death Mountain, and it did not disappoint. It was so unbelievably cool when I got there, and it just said Fire Temple. I got hyped. I was like, oh, dungeon time, baby. They're back, dungeons are back. And let me tell you, I was thought, oh, they fixed it. Nintendo have done it after the Divine Beast. This was the first dungeon I did in Tears of the Kingdom. I was so happy. I was so relieved. This got me hyped for the rest of the game because this dungeon was awesome. I don't understand how people can criticize it. The literal main mechanic is using minecarts and using Yunobo to fire off other constructs and other minecarts. It's so unbelievably cool. I just don't understand. I don't get how people can dislike it. And the puzzles were actually kind of tricky. Like, I remember I was getting lost because the final gong I had to go to, I got a bit confused of how to get there, but I loved it. I was getting lost in this dungeon and I enjoyed it the whole time. It's definitely a dungeon that I'll remember for a while because it gave me an experience I will never forget. Now, the Marbled Goma it's an alright boss. I don't dislike it, but I don't really love it either. It was cool to see Goma's return, but it was very easy. It was a very easy boss, probably after Colgera, the easiest boss you fight. And it was a little bit disappointing because of how easy it was, because it did look quite intimidating. But shooting Yunobo around the room made this boss for me. It was very easy and it got a little bit repetitive and it was very obvious for what you had to do. But I got to fire Fat Yunobo around the room, off the ceiling, hitting him and everything. How could you not love that? You got to fire Yunobo around a massive circular room off the walls. How could you not love that? This dungeon does almost everything perfectly, but there's only one dungeon that I like more, and we'll get onto that right now. In first place, my favourite temple is the Lightning Temple. Now, we all probably saw it coming. Nintendo always saved the best temples for the Gerudo Desert, I can't lie. But no, the introduction to the temple was awesome because the Queen Gibdo comes out of nowhere and you have to fight the boss straight on. And that actually gave me chills, literally. It was so cool how you had to fight the boss instantly. And then the dungeon itself was so brilliant. Like, I spent so much time getting to the main room with the main objectives, and that was so cool. I got lost so many times, and the puzzles with light fit the theme absolutely perfectly. And it's awesome because it's a massive pyramid and there are so many rooms you can get lost in, and it's a proper Zelda dungeon, and I love that so much. It does what the Fire Temple does, but just does it so much better. And this was actually the second dungeon I went to after the fire temple, so it like kept on getting better and then it slowly went downhill. But no, it was so brilliant, the lightning temple. I loved it so much. And the Queen Gibdo fight at the end was so cool, the rematch. It was so much harder. It was probably one of the, if not the hardest bosses in Tears of the Kingdom. I died a couple times, but I don't care. It was so cool, and it was actually sick how the second phase all the Gibdos come out at once, and you and Riju have to take them down. It's so awesome. I love the boss so much, and the Lightning Temple is perfection of what a dungeon should be in Zelda, and the Lightning Temple is just the best dungeon in Tears of the Kingdom. Well, that's my ranking of the temples in Tears of the Kingdom. I'd like to know if you agree or disagree with me, so feel free to leave your opinion in the comments below. But if you enjoyed them, please smash the like button and subscribe. I'm actually making a Let's Play series of Tears of the Kingdom, so if you want to go and check that out, the playlist of it will be on screen right now. But I hope to see you another time, and bye.